I'm going to start my introduction. They're in the big house now.
Is that really what you wanted to start with? That was the amazing line you had to start with.
They're in the big house now.
I want to kill myself.
Bro, that's one of the best quotes of all time.
I failed to see that's one of the best quotes of all time, but...
Oh my god.
Right.
Oh no.
Anyway.
It's already chaos.
Welcome back to a special episode of Media Nest, the podcast where we discuss films and music, where we haven't discussed any films or music for 6 months.
Damn,
but we're so good at this.
We're back.
Damn.
All right, back with a bang.
Back stronger.
Right, so as before, we are joined by Dylan.
What's good? Hello.
Brad.
Chin chin.
And me, Adam.
They were going to introduce yourself. Congratulations.
Yeah, see, I remembered. They were going to replace me with like someone much cheaper, but you know, can't kill the king.
Yeah, the Stormborn.
Do you see how no one laughed there?
Yeah, awkward. Tough crowd. Right, so where were we?
You're the one running the show. Like
I forgot what I was doing, you know. It's been too long. It's been 6 months. I'm rusty, right? So anyway, we are on this special episode. We decided to just ignore our recommendations from like 7 months ago because we watched
shit.
Black Klansman, and Black Klansman was kind of shit.
I didn't hate
Controversial.
No shit.
And then I'm pretty sure you two didn't even bother listening to the album I recommended for like
I can't remember what album was.
Exactly,
what album?
Right. It was Late at the Pier, but it don't matter.
I never listened to it, to be honest with you.
I don't know what that is.
And then basically we tried to record an episode for like 2 months straight where one of us would be like, oh, sorry, my dog's got to go to the vet. And then it was like, oh, I've lost my dog. And it was like,
none of us have a dog, Adam.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking
exactly. My gerbil's ill with COVID.
None of us own a
Take
gerbil.
it to the vet. Sorry. So basically, we couldn't get us three sitting down for ages because we were all working full time and there was all mad shit going on. Basically, so what have we been up to in the meantime, guys? How was our 2020s?
Brad, go for it. All you, bro.
Long, bro. Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything. So cool. Let's get onto some films.
Nah, 2020 was
Brad, you moved house, you know?
Yeah, so we're not living together anymore. You know, that's pretty sweet considering now I don't need to watch films with you or do anything with you or associate with you whatsoever. So
yeah, that's
literally as soon as he left living with me, he hasn't watched a film in 6 months. So.
That's a lie. I've been watching films. Just reruns of films I've already seen though. So
yeah, true. Just not many 2020 films.
Well, I mean, what exactly was out in 2020 to be desired?
Hey, bangers. We'll get to that.
Exactly. We'll get to that. And then Dylan, what you been up to then?
Literally nothing. Yeah, I've just sat down, ate a lot of food, got chonky, exercised a bit, then got chonky again. So, you know, them ones
basically been on furlough for like a year, just
stealing
our government money, just
as usual. Exactly. No, I mean, I did go back to work for a little bit, but it was so dead. It was so bad. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm happy. I'm happy sitting down, earning money for absolutely nothing. It's great.
Yeah. And as for me, I've basically had like 12 jobs in the meantime.
You've had 2 jobs in the meantime.
Yeah,
I was going to go traveling, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Basically just been doing Lego, you know?
Yeah. Starting new hobbies and that.
As Brad mentioned, there was a few films in 2020, and basically we just wanted to discuss like any films we'd seen in 2020 that are worth mentioning. Brad actually hadn't seen any films, so we had to give him a couple to watch before we could do the episode.
Well, where did 2020 go? It flew by. What can I say? It was long and flew by.
2020 was the longest short year of my life.
True. So yeah, we decided to recommend Brad 2 films, both interesting in their own
top tier.
Both 10 out of 10 films. Both 10 out of 10 films.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So the first film we forced him to watch was Brahms 2, The Boy.
I was open to this because we've seen the first one, so I mean...
Yeah, exactly. The first one's banging, second one, they level up in every category, you know?
Yeah.
Great title as well. It really captures the imagination. Like, who is Brahms?
Who really
Honestly.
knows?
Exactly.
Who is Brahms? That's what I want to know.
And then we also watched like this shit film you've probably never heard of. Like, I don't think it had much buzz about it. A film called Parasite.
Yeah, no.
Like, what even is a parasite? Like, what is there? Like a worm walking around or some shit? Like, fucking hell. Sort it out.
Foreign film. Ugh. Gross.
Go listen to subtitles.
Read it.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why is there no jump scares? What the fuck? Right, so do we want to discuss Brahms 2, The Boy first, or Parasite?
No, we want Brahms first.
You sure?
Okay.
Sure we don't.
We'll go Brahms.
Sure we don't want to build up to it.
No. We want Brahms first.
We'll go Brahms first.
We're just cracking straight into Brahms, like that scene in that movie. Right.
Let's dig it up like we dug up that doll.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's float
Spoilers.
in the air about. Oh shit! Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Right. Spoiler alert for Brahms 2, The Boy.
Not that you will ever watch it.
You will. You have to.
And The Boy 1. We gotta remember that as well. We don't want to spoil The Boy 1.
Yeah.
And
the prequel.
Also Parasite. Like, we're gonna be spoiling that later on as well.
Definitely.
Right. So Brahms 2, The Boy. Right. I've already said that like 4 times.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this film in a previous episode. I can't remember which one.
You might have.
I'll give a little bit of information on the film, and then we'll just crack on with our opinions. Obviously, you two had never seen this film before, right?
No,
this was your first watch.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. I saw it in the cinema. Like,
why did you do that?
This was in the cinema. This was the second last film I think I'm ever gonna see in the cinema because they're not coming back. So, right. So, did a little bit of research. So, Brahms 2, The Boy. Okay, directed by William Brent Bell. Sounds like a fake name. Like, it sounds like he was put in an AI machine and they just like developed an English sounding name, right? He's most well known for The Boy.
Okay.
Brahms 2, The Boy, obviously, and The Devil Inside.
Oh.
So apparently, I've not seen The Devil Inside, but I know that the ending, you basically have to like go on a website and read a story to get the real ending. Like, it cuts mid-scene. It just like fades to black when it's like about to hit an action scene. And people were like, what the fuck, where's the ending? And then apparently you had to go on a website to watch the ending.
You had to get DLC director for your movie.
Yeah, basically. So I mean, he's a visionary. Like, he's doing good things, William.
Yeah.
It was written by Stacey Menear, and she's well known for Brahms 2, The Boy, and The Boy. And nothing
very
else.
Well known for that. Yes.
Clearly, yeah.
So, pretty good.
Yep.
And it's got a 29 Metacritic rating.
Oh, solid
29 out of 20. That's insane.
Surprisingly high, to be fair. And a 4.6 on IMDb. So basically, it's like not the worst rating, but it's like not good. It's just like average.
That's a lot higher than I thought it would be.
It's high. Yeah. I was surprised. Right. So another thing that's quite amusing. This film only has 2 trivia notes on IMDb. So you know the trivia section.
Yeah. It's usually stacked.
Interesting facts about the film. So for comparison's sake, Parasite has 102 entries. It's had 2, and I'm going to read them to you now. If you just give me a second, I'm just going to find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
So what you're saying is, Parasite had 102?
102, yeah.
Oh my god! So there is literally only 2 interesting things about this movie. Is what you're trying to tell me? Little factoid.
They may not even necessarily be interesting. Let's just.
You're right.
Yeah, let's
see what they are first.
There are 2 things that can be said. Okay.
Oh, come on, what's going on?
Where's your
I'm
facts
interested.
at, bro?
Get your facts
I
straight.
didn't write them down. I was just gonna go to it.
Oh mate, this is poor.
Look at that. This is.
Says the guy who's not prepared at all. Right.
Oh, hey, listen.
Right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
right, cool.
So these are the two trivia factoids for Brahms, The Boy 2.
Hit me with some knowledge.
Also, I thought it was Brahms 2, The Boy. It turns out it's Brahms, The Boy 2. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
What? Oh my god.
Bro, it's Brahms, semicolon, The Boy 2.
Oh.
That's the name of the film.
What? But the first one wasn't called Brahms the Boy.
I thought... No, it was called The Boy.
No, it was called Brahms as well, though, I swear.
No, it wasn't called Brahms because we didn't know that.
One was just
because we didn't know that it was called Brahms. Oh my god.
Yeah,
bro.
Okay.
This is the most confusing franchise of all time, and there's only 2 movies.
I thought Star Wars was
anyway,
confusing, man.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right, prepare your anuses.
Okay, it's ready.
Get me with some
knowledge.
Okay, trivia fact number 1. In the end credits, a man named Tom Cruise is credited as a chef. The film's star, Katie Holmes, was married to the actor Tom Cruise. Right? You seem dumbfounded, mate. You're in shock.
So a chef who worked on just cooking food was called Tom Cruise, and then they shoehorned Katie Holmes being married to Tom Cruise in as a fact.
Yeah.
What is this?
And that's a movie fact.
Like, what is this dumb shit? Like...
And then
it's not even about the movie.
Wait, we haven't got to the best bit yet.
Okay, let's wait.
This is the second trivia fact.
Composed.
This is spoilers as well.
Oh,
this is
spoilers.
Okay.
So spoilers for Brahms, The Boy 2. I apologize to William Brent Bell for getting the name of his film wrong. My bad. Right. Next fact.
Yeah.
Body count. Okay.
Huh?
The body count of this film. 2. There was 2 deaths.
What? That's
Joseph.
Oh, okay.
Who you might know as Crazy Joe, which was the impression that I did at the beginning. They're in the big house now. Right. And his dog. No, wait for it. Right. One kid got hurt by Brahms, but Jude's dad said the boy will be okay in hospital.
He did say
that. Please tell me you remember that scene, right? So
the cricket scene,
right?
In the back garden.
The crochet.
Oh
thing,
my god!
Right? Croquet, sorry.
That's it.
The fat kid is like teasing his cousin, right? He keeps calling him mental. He's like, "You're a mental. You're a mental," right?
Which, bearing in mind, it's just a weird scene because that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. It's just so out of touch.
Yeah.
And then he starts teasing his sister, who's also cousins with the boy, like the kid. And then he starts going, "You're just saying that because he's your boyfriend. That's your boyfriend." And it's like, bro, that's your cousin too. What are you talking about?
Do you know what? I'm going to say it. Oh, go on, carry on.
Right. And then Brahms gets pissed and uses like some psychic powers or some shit while they're playing croquet to like push the kid on a like croquet mallet that's like broke in the ground. it fucking pierces his heart, right? It pierces
directly through his, impales through him,
literally through his aorta, like he's bleeding to death. And then the next scene is his dad's at the hospital, and he's just like, "Oh, apparently he'll be fine. He just needs a few stitches." And we gave him a paracetamol. Like, he's been impaled in the heart. And also, that was the scene where we got some really good expository dialogue, where there's just a random guy in the hospital, and he's like, "Oh, you're staying in the Brahms house. Oh, that's where all them people got murdered, isn't
it?" Right. One thing, just to clarify, in Brahms 1, no, sorry, let me get this right. In The Boy, it was Brahms the doll wasn't actually possessed.
No, that was the whole point of the film.
Yeah, it was just a guy hiding in the walls.
Correct.
Yeah, moving Brahms around and stuff. It was never like told to us that, oh, actually, the doll is actually possessed, and it's an interdimensional fucking being with a fucking like monster
with
what is it?
Powers.
With psychic otherworldly powers. What?
Yeah.
That wasn't it in the beginning.
He's basically like Annabelle mixed with like the Scarlet Witch from X-Men.
Literally. He's the most powerful being in the universe, apparently.
Yeah, but he's Brahms. Like, he's sick,
of course.
So one of my favorite scenes, right, is that one with the kid getting impaled. I mean, there's many favorite scenes, right? There's him getting impaled. There's the dinner table scene where she's like blaming her son for flipping over like a 400-kilo wooden table.
I forgot about that. Oh my god.
There's the scenes of her waking up from bed, which is like 70% of the movie's runtime.
How many was it? Was it 17? 17 times or something like that?
No, I think
we counted
one of us guessed 17. We tried to like guess how many there'd be, and I think it was like 11 or something.
No, I think we gave up after a little while. I think we forgot to keep counting.
Yeah, true. We was too busy just taking in the
at least
direction.
10 times in the movie, a scene started with her waking up.
Yeah, Adam, you was just like, yeah, let's count how many times she gets out of bed. And after like the 7th time, we just stopped counting.
Yeah.
Because you thought I was joking, and then literally every scene starts with her waking up in bed and then just getting
There was one where it was literally like 5 minutes apart from each other, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh no, right. I want to talk about the timeline in this film, right?
Oh,
like it must take place over like a few weeks, maybe, right?
But
there's scenes that start where she gets out of bed. She goes for a walk in the woods, and then immediately after, the next scene is her going to bed. And you're just like, what the fuck does this woman do with her life? Like, what a sad little life you're leaving, Katie Holmes. I mean, her career has gone downhill as well, like bad.
Yeah. What else has she been in? Because I know she's famous, isn't she?
She was in Batman Begins.
Right.
She was married to Tom Cruise at the time, and she was like one of Hollywood's starlets, right? Like they were like a power couple. Then she was so shit in Batman Begins that they got a different actress to play the same character in the next movie.
Shut up.
And then because Tom Cruise is such like freak, like a Scientologist nut job, basically like he was like forcing people to cast her in their films, and then she did Jack and Jill, and then that was it. Like, that was her career gone.
She did Jack and Jill. Oh my
god,
was
in Jack and Jill, bro.
Why have we not reviewed that movie yet?
Because
it's too painful. It's too painful to watch, bro.
That's fair.
It took like 3 different separate settings. To,
you told me.
Like,
yeah.
You can only watch it for like half an hour before your brain implodes. It's so bad.
You lose that many brain cells.
But yeah, speaking of Katie Holmes, right?
Yes.
What did we think about the acting in this film?
Right. I'm just gonna skip over the fact that you said what about Katie Holmes. I'm just gonna go straight to the kid. because I've said this 100 times in this podcast. There are no, I won't say no, there are hardly any good child actors, and this boy was shit. My guy, he was a massive pussy. He was a bitch.
Oh yeah.
He was annoying. Everything he did, he's just stupid look on his face. Do you know what? I'd punch that kid.
No, but Dylan,
I'd punch him.
Dylan, you're forgetting the incredibly important plot point, which I think they put in just because the kid was such a shit actor, where for the first half of the film he couldn't speak because his mum got attacked by some Slavs in her bar.
Oh yeah, the Slavs kept making an appearance as well.
They were actually wearing Adidas tracksuits. I'm not even making it up.
And Reebok shoes.
Yeah, and her traumatic event was her just sort of getting pushed to the ground a bit.
Yeah, and then she goes on. So yeah, let's just paint the picture. In the one of the first scenes of the movie, it's the lady Katie Holmes and the boy.
Does anyone remember this kid's name?
Not the boy, bro. You can't say the boy.
Oh no, not the boy. The child.
Brahms.
Yeah.
The child.
What's the kid's name?
Let's call him Abraham or something. I don't know.
Remember. Do you want me to look it up, bro?
Look it up while I'm talking. But yeah, so the first scene with those two in the house, and then all of a sudden there's a Slav standing there in full Adidas drip, bald head. All right, and he attacks the lady, and the kid sees her attack, but the attack isn't an attack. My guy pushed her over and stole their skybox or something like that, and that was it. But she was going on like she was traumatized, and then he was obviously traumatized, but he wasn't, because they probably wrote that in because he's so shit at acting.
He couldn't speak, Dylan.
Yeah, so he couldn't speak.
This is very normal for people, so he kept writing on his bit of paper like, Brahms needs to do this.
Potatoes,
don't
please.
The funny thing is, it sounds like you're making that up, but that is a genuine scene in the movie.
He asked for potatoes, and he just writes potatoes, please.
Oh, there's also the bit where he walks in while his mum's sleeping in bed, and he like holds it up, and he's like, I can't remember what it says, but it's like, "Can I get in?" or something. It's like something really weird. It's like, "Bed, please?" ? It's like,
oh yeah,
pervert, bro. Oh, the kid's name is Jude.
There you go.
I don't remember that at all.
Hey Jude.
Little Judy.
Oh, and the cousin, the one who's bullying him and calling him a mental.
Yeah.
Right, his name's Will, and this is very important because the other little girl actress cannot pronounce Will. Do you remember? She's like, Will, stop it, Will. Will, yeah. It's like cool quit.
Will Wheaton.
Yeah, so again, that scene has so many layers. Also, in the same scene, do you not remember Katie Holmes is talking about banging her husband and like wearing lingerie to the other woman while like the kid's getting killed outside?
The kids are bullying each other. She can see it happening, and she's just there talking about fucking what a movie.
Jude's getting punched and she's just like, I might wear the frilly panties tonight. But also that's another plot point, like her husband's arc is just that he stops trying to get her to put out. Like his character change over the film is, one, he hits Brahms with a croquet mallet, and two, he's just accepted that he's never going to bang his wife again.
Ever.
Biggest
that was the whole plot. That was the whole plot point, isn't it?
Yeah,
because he was going to come home and smash his missus.
Yeah, and then she was like, I can't. The Slavs stole my TV. Right, so I think we need to talk about our favourite characters.
Oh, Crazy Joe.
Right.
You knew I was going to say Crazy Joe.
Crazy Joe.
Crazy Joe. Before we get on to Crazy Joe, though, Brad, who's your favourite character? Is Crazy Joe yours too?
Oh, mate, I don't give a fuck about any of these characters. Genuinely, I couldn't give a fuck about any of these characters.
What about the dog? Like, you gotta like the dog.
I couldn't care for the dog either.
Bro, the dog was there for like 5 minutes and then he just got killed by the dog.
But Crazy Joe didn't even care. He was like, oh yeah, my dog's dead.
Bro, he was Crazy Joe. So, all right, we need to talk about Crazy Joe. We need to talk about the elephant in the room, right? Joe, right? I need to get the actor's name because it's
Ralph
important
Ineson.
Right? Ralph Ineson,
yeah.
Man from the
so
Admiral
he, right,
is in everything.
In everything. But okay, he's in The Witch, which he puts in a great performance, right?
Yeah,
it's incredible because it was directed by a person and not an AI robot. He's been in, like, you can hear him in like car commercials. So I'm pretty sure when we were watching it, someone was like, "This guy sounds." Yeah, that was you, Dylan.
Like he's selling me insurance.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Bro, I swear he actually does voiceovers." And then, like, the next day at work in the break room, they were playing what's that Salvage Hunters show where they like go around and buy furniture, right? He was doing the voiceover. He was like, "John's just turned up and he's gonna buy a shed for £200." I was like, "Bro, it's Crazy Joe."
He's everywhere.
Literally. But this guy can act, right? He is a solid, like, British actor, gets around. He does.
He's in Harry Potter. He's in Star Wars. He's in Doolittle.
Oh fuck!
Crossover. He's in Kingsman. He's in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, but
it's insane.
You can tell for a fact that he knew he was probably getting paid like 500k or something, like a decent amount, just to star in this piece of shit film, and he was just gonna do the worst job he could possibly do. And he's like, he literally just turns up randomly with a gun, and he's just like clearly just meant to be like the threatening neighbor. And then they're just like, "Oh, hi there, how are you doing?" He's like, "You don't want to go in that house over there. You don't want to do that. Oh god, the bad things happened in that house." And he's just like, "Well, this guy's clearly evil and crazy."
Yeah.
And then there's the big reveal where who is it who tells them about Crazy Joe?
It was a random woman.
No, it was the person. Probably was in the hospital, wasn't it?
It was the guy in the hospital.
It was hospital.
Yeah. And then she goes on a mad one looking up like news articles and stuff.
Yeah, don't you remember? Because the woman's at home and she's looking it up at the same time as dad's finding out in hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And doesn't it turn out like he was one of the kids who killed his family or whatever?
I've just remembered something. I've just remembered a brilliant scene. So there's one scene where so a woman was like, "Oh yeah, if you look up the serial number, you can find out where he comes from." And she goes into the room at midnight, obviously.
Oh wait, fuck it. I'm in the group chat. You say
and looks at the serial number, and it was like 106.
I remember exactly. It was HOH9.
That was it, HOH9. And so she types it in on Google, nothing comes up. Then all these scenes later, she's like, maybe I should turn it upside down. And then it's 6 HOH or something like that.
And then suddenly it comes up with a list of like 15 murdered, dull the cause. And then there's like all of these zoom in shots of like Brahms just sitting there while people are fucking dead all around and stuff. She's like, she still doesn't like get up and immediately run. She's just sitting there on her laptop like, yeah, that sounds interesting. Oh, that 15 dead, you say? Little boy murders family. Oh, that sounds good.
That's all right, yeah.
But yeah, back to Crazy Joe. I forgot that hospital scene. Not only does he tell him about the doll murders in the house and how like, oh, that house, the bad things happened in that house because of this doll. Like he's just reading the script to him.
Yeah.
He also mentions Crazy Joe. Yeah.
Did he?
Because he's like,
he starts going about the groundsman, didn't he, or whatever?
Yeah, he says something about a groundsman. And he's like, oh, what? You mean Crazy Joe? Because his name's Joseph. And then suddenly there's an immediate switch where he confronts Katie Holmes and he gives like one of the most beautiful performances I've ever seen in a film. I'm not even joking. I love that scene. That might be my favorite scene actually, where he's like, there's spit coming out of his mouth like while he's screaming at her. He puts in so much effort. And this is of course where she's like, where's my son? Where's Jude? And then he turns to her with spit dribbling out of his mouth, looks her in the eye, and he goes, "They're in the big house now."
It's so dumb.
Right. And then, so we're basically at the end of the film now, the climax. Right. You've had a couple of jump scares here and there, mostly dream sequences where nothing actually happens. Yeah. She gets out of bed. Yeah. There's like spiders in Brahms' mouth. That's it.
Saying that, a few times scattered here and there, the doll actually does move around a bit, which is weird because I was trying to think, like, who's actually doing, like, who's moving the doll? Because obviously in the last movie it was a person.
But that person's now dead, so.
Yeah, so I was thinking, who's controlling the doll? But yeah, so it gets to this last thing.
Are they completely ignoring the first film?
Like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's completely ignored.
Not, because the mask is there and they've like crawl spaces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so that means it wasn't a magical thing before, was it?
No.
And now all of a sudden it's some sort of magical...
So we just got to assume that the doll possessed the other dude to move him around.
Oh, but then listen, guys, right?
We're thinking too much about it.
It went over your head. Like William Brent Bell, he's just too smart for you.
He's playing 4D underwater interdimensional chess with us.
Yeah.
We ain't on that level.
So yeah, basically they're in the big house, which means they go to confront him. So the dad grabs like a croquet mallet, right? Katie Holmes is doing nothing basically. Like the whole film, she's just looking bored.
Yeah.
She's like following after.
Scared of slabs and that.
Yeah, basically. She's crippled by her fear of slabs. Like that's her character.
Isn't that like carry on.
And then like they get into the big house. They go down into the basement because that's where the son is, right? She sees her son and he's now wearing the mask from the first film, right? Which shows that it's linked. And then he's like, "Mummy, I'm the boy now. I love Brahms. I want to be Brahms," or some shit like that. Like, I don't know what he's
literally like that though. Like acted like that.
Oh yeah, literally like, "Hello,
that was
Mummy. How are you doing?"
Every literally word is broken.
Yeah. And then she's just there like, "Oh no, son. I can't believe you've turned into a demon child.
Can't believe you've done this."
Yeah. Meanwhile, Brahms comes out. He's now fully walking. Like he is anthropomorphic. He's moving his limbs around. His head.
He's doing a Fortnite dance in the corner or something.
Yeah, basically. He's bezzing in the corner. And so basically they just ignore the first film. They just inexplicably now he's just a demon. Like he can walk.
Literal demon.
He then makes Crazy Joe float in the air.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure like what's meant to be happening. I'm still unsure. Right?
I don't understand the story here.
He starts floating. The fire behind him gets like really big.
Yeah, because they're in the basement in the boiler room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And then the dad runs up, hits Brahms in the head with the croquet mallet.
Yeah.
His face shatters.
Because he's porcelain.
Because he's porcelain, right? That makes sense. He's a doll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bear in mind, it's important to remember in the first film, the doll also got smashed against a pool table and he shattered
and it was hollow
into like 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And he was hollow. He now has a demon face.
Literal flesh and blood dripping from a demon mouth with massive fangs.
Yeah, like he's just solid now. He's just a demon, right?
He's just a demon.
And then I still don't get like, does he start floating or is it just the other guy?
It's just the other guy. And then they were like
the big explosion.
Yeah, and then so fire explodes, a boiler explodes, nobody dies. No third degree burns, no hair singeing, just fine. It explodes.
Apart from Brahms.
Of course, yeah. But does Brahms get chucked into the boiler? like into the fire.
You forget that Crazy Joe dies.
Oh yeah.
Does he?
I actually can't remember how this film ends. I've seen it twice.
Oh,
am I making this up?
Right, Brad.
Are we making it up as we go along?
You need to tell us the end of this film then.
Yeah. Adam's seen this 4 times.
Oh, fucking hell. No, because Crazy Joe dies after the fucking demon throws it where the fuck ever he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He throws him at the wall. Yeah.
Right. And then they're having this emotional little moment where the boy's supposedly all fucking... I'm Brahms now. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then he has this sudden switch and he throws the fucking doll in the furnace, burns it to pieces, and everyone's good again. And there's no more demons.
Wait, the sun?
Does the sun do that?
I swear it's a kid in it.
Bro, I genuinely
don't know.
remember.
I thought it was like the dad hits it with a croquet mallet into the thing.
Is that what he did? I thought that's how he
I
broke
don't know.
No, that was earlier.
Wait, why have we?
I don't know.
I can't even remember what happens.
Boys, are we gonna have to watch this film again?
No, fuck no.
I actually don't know who throws him into the fire.
No, the kid does.
Oh,
the kid has a snap out
moment.
Blows up. The kid
so
has
the
a snap
fire
out moment.
blows up afterwards. Yeah.
Throws the doll in, and the fire burns it, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, everything's good then." And then we cut to the last fucking scene where the kid's like, "Brahms, you'll be happy here."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So the
Brad,
kid.
you're skipping over the dinner though. You're skipping over the
more potatoes, please, again.
Can we skip this film?
And then the dad's just like, I slaved over this all day. These might be the best potatoes in all the land of England. Am I right?
I'm pretty sure they're boiled potatoes.
Literally, yeah.
This man boils his chicken.
Yeah, 100%.
No, this is actually quite a progressive film though, because the dad does all the cooking and the mum just cries in like the corner the whole film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, then the end
final
scene.
shot. Yeah, final shot. This is like one of history's greatest final moments.
Yeah.
The boy gets up from bed because we get another wake up from bed scene.
Yes, of course.
He stares in the mirror and he's got the mask.
Dun dun dun! Is there a third movie coming out? Who knows?
I'll tell you how much money it made in a minute, and tell you.
200 mil.
I don't think there's going to be a third movie.
I'm sure there is.
They might have already commissioned it.
Yeah,
honestly, they might. Like, what's it going to be called this time? Jude.
Brahms. The boy Jude Brahms 3.
The boy 3. Because he's now Jude.
2 Brahms, 2 Furious.
Brahms versus the Slavs. Dawn of Age. Right, so basically this film had a $10 million budget.
Well worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
10 million. They spent $10 million
my God.
in this film. Mm-hmm. And it grossed 20 million worldwide.
So it's making profit.
But
but
compared to the first film, I'm pretty sure the first film made a lot of money. So I don't think they got dwindling returns. Let me just check.
All I'm hearing is they made a 200% return. So
there you go. That's all you want.
That's all you need.
Yeah, but how much did they spend?
To be fair, out of that 10 million, 9 million of it went to Crazy Joe. So
yeah, true. And £15 of it went to Katie Holmes.
She just needed some bread.
To put this into perspective, right? Both the first film and this film had $10 million budgets.
Okay, so both of them had 10 mil.
They both had $10 million budgets. The first film made 74 million worldwide.
How much?
This film made 20
million.
No, the fact that first film even made 74 is ridiculous.
Well, that's why they made a sequel. They basically were sitting in a meeting and they were like, yeah, but what's the plot to this film, though? Because it was just a boy in the wall. It's like, he's a demon now. Like, fuck it.
Everyone just starts clapping.
Right, so that was Brahms 2, the boy. No, Brahms
the boy
2.
There you go.
Brahms, 2 Furious.
Right.
That's what it's called from now on.
So let's get straight into ratings then. What are we doing, boys?
Okay, I'll start. First of all, question: how do we rate our movies? 10 or 5?
5 stars.
Out of 10 or out of 5?
It was been around 5, weren't we? So
okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go first. I think this is one of the best movies. No, I can't lie. This was painful to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It was funny.
Not in a good way,
but it was a pain.
No, not the
Some
good
of it in
kind
a
of
good
funny.
way. Some of it I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, okay. Let me put it this way: if I was watching this with like just one other person, I'd have switched it off. Because I was watching with the boys, it kind of makes it funnier. But yeah, it's not good. I'm giving it a 1 star, and the 1 star is purely because I actually enjoyed some of it, like the kid dying, but he actually didn't die because he got impaled. Yeah. I got some enjoyment, but it was a waste of time.
My
the 1
view
star
of
out
it
of
is
5.
pretty much the same as Dylan's. To be fair, I'll give it 1 star purely on the basis of it was enjoyable to watch with other people. I would not. You could not sit and watch this film by yourself. Like it could not be done.
No way.
No.
See, I agreed with exactly what you said when I first watched it, and also it kind of made me angry that this was in the cinema. Like, this film does not belong. In, like a movie theater.
This is straight to VHS, and they don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, it's just like one of them insulting horror movies where they just chuck it in there because they expected it to make as much money as the first film. Whereas like the first film's kind of shit, but it like they tried at least. Whereas this one they really didn't.
They tried to put a twist in.
I bumped it up 1/2 a star when we watched it because there's so much stupid shit in it that I just find it hilarious. Like there's so many scenes that make no sense at all. But the problem is there's like at least 50-60 minutes that's just really boring. Like that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
It's not funny bad all the way through that makes it like one of them 5-star like amazing ironic movies.
Yeah.
Like, boring, and then suddenly the demons like floating at the end.
You got a knee slapper.
So yeah, 1.5 stars out of 5. I'm going.
That's fair. I'd like to retract my statement. I want to give it a 1 star because of because of Crazy Joe.
No, if Crazy
I want that
Joe
on record.
wasn't in this is like a 1/2 star film. Like, he made the film for me. I just love him so much.
Yeah, 100%.
So moving on from the greatest film of all time, we also watch Parasite. So little background on Parasite. I watched this film 3 times in the cinema in 2020.
Yeah.
So basically, it was released worldwide in 2019, but it didn't get a wide release in the cinema in the UK until like January, February in the UK, I think.
January, I think.
So I watched it, then I watched it again with someone else. Then me and you watched it, didn't we? At your cinema, I think.
I don't think so.
Then maybe that was a different film.
Maybe you went by yourself.
I don't think so.
I think I did actually.
No, you're thinking of the other greatest movie we watched, Doolittle.
Yeah, I always get them confused. You know, it's them one-word titles.
Just the cinematic masterpiece is just.
But I've now seen this 4 times, right? And so that's why I was like, right, Brad's not seen many 2020 movies. We've got to recommend something that's like low, and we've got to recommend something that's basically like universally acclaimed, right? So this film, 96 Metacritic rating, 8.6 on IMDb.
Amazing.
I think for a long time it was the highest rated film on Letterboxd. I'm not sure if it still is, but it's probably up there.
Fair.
Won 4 Oscars. It was nominated for 6. So it won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best International Feature, and it's the first international film to ever win Best Movie at the Oscars. So no foreign films have ever done that before.
I respect that.
Yeah, it's also one of only 3 films in history to win both the Palme d'Or and the Oscar Best Picture in the same year. Yeah.
Wow.
So we chose Brahms The Boy 2 because it's shit basically, and then we had to compare it to something that's like very highly regarded.
We needed a palate cleanser afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this film was directed by Bong Joon Ho, who's he's been making films for years. Obviously, he started off making Korean films, but he's made some like Western films as well. So he made Okja on Netflix, Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah.
So they're both like English language films. And then he decided to go back to Korea and make a Korean movie again. Have you guys ever seen any of his other films?
No.
I have not. I've wanted to watch a few of them, but I just haven't.
So I've seen Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer's pretty good, but it's more of like an American film rather than like his Korean stuff.
Yeah. I watched a review on that film. It was alright.
I've also watched Memories of Murder, which is incredible. Like that might be up there with Parasite. Like that's a great film. I'd recommend that as well.
Cool.
And yeah, like what was I gonna say? Budget, right? The budget for this film,
right?
So we've already said that Brahms The Boy 2 had a $10 million budget, right?
Yeah.
So if you think of that, how much do you think the budget was for Parasite?
The thing is, it's not really shot in an awful lot of different locations, is it? So you got to think, and as well, I mean, I don't know how well regarded the actors are, but I mean, I've never heard of Korean actors before, so
I don't know. Let's just say 10 mil.
I'm gonna go 5 mil.
Well, it was $11.4 million.
Okay.
Which is probably like fairly high for like a foreign film because they don't tend to have high budgets. And as you said,
but that's still low.
There's not too many locations and stuff, but they did most of the locations were actually sets. They were built sets. So the house wasn't actually a real house. They built that set specifically, yeah. And apparently when Bong Joon Ho showed it to an architect, he was like, "This is stupid. No one would ever design a house like this." And also the street set, so where the other family are from, the poor family, that was also a set as well. And then it was like CGI at the end. So basically when you're looking from their window, all of the houses on that street were sets, which makes sense. Obviously, because it gets flooded later in the film.
You can tell it was used though, because that toilet when it was spewing out sewage just looked ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it didn't look like a set at all. Like it
that
real.
was.
But obviously,
no, I'm saying that toilet overflowing did not look real.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, it's just that. Yeah. That's the worst part of the film.
So yeah, basically, I want to start with Brad because obviously I've seen it, so. You probably know my opinion a bit anyway.
Oh, of course.
Dylan, like, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure on his opinion on this film. But Brad, you've basically
no one's sure of my opinion,
seen
bro.
all the hype for this film and everyone talking about it and saying all this stuff and it's winning Oscars, right? So you're sort of coming in on this with a fresh perspective.
Of course.
So yeah, I'd like to start with what you thought of the film, Brad.
Is it because you're worried about my opinion now?
I mean, you never know. Judging by your history on films that I really like and then you watch, you never know.
Yeah.
But also, I would find it difficult for anyone to hate this film. So,
okay. So if I came in and was just like,
oh no,
do you know what? It was rather boring. Could not get into it. Don't like films that have a different language.
Yeah, so if you just give me a second, I'm just
we cancel this podcast.
Just really, I am completely joking. This film was fucking brilliant.
Hey, there we go.
There
we go. And please tell me you watched it with subtitles this time.
I did, yes. Well, I don't speak Korean, so why would I not watch it with subtitles?
Well, you did with Climax, but then I suppose that's not really plot driven. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, again as well. I mean, I could understand what was going on. So, no, with this film, I watched it with subtitles.
Yeah.
Because the storyline is kind of the integral part of
Yeah,
it. So you kind
definitely.
of need to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And from the way it's completely written out to how the story moves through, and then the plot lines, and then the subplot lines, and then how they develop the characters, the sort of infiltration of the characters, and then sort of the big ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for me, it was like it was written perfectly.
Oh yeah, yeah. I genuinely think,
Yeah.
like, especially watching it this time after a break from it, because like I watched it 3 times in about like 2 weeks, and I was like, fucking love this film. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Watching it again a year later, the one thing I realized is the script is perfect. Like, it's genuinely one of the best written scripts ever, because everything is explained. Because it's like,
no, 100%.
Like, you ask a question that you would in a normal film, where you're like, oh, how comes they knew about this, or how comes this happened, and then like a few lines of dialogue later, it's just completely answered. Like,
there's
literally,
all
and there's
loose
so
ends are
much
tied up.
foreshadowing as well. Like, they mention subtle things, like, poor people live underground and shit is mentioned like at the beginning, and then suddenly later on there's a massive plot where there's a poor guy living underground and like shit like that. And like the kid's painting, I realized on this watch, the kid's painting looks very similar to the guy living underground, because he's the one who like traumatized him.
Yeah.
So like, obviously the whole thing is that he saw a ghost, when really it's just like the guy living in the basement, and he's like drawing pictures of that. So that's like there. And the major thing, which I realized like after a few watches you might not notice, did you guys notice the lights?
What, when they're flickering? Because obviously the guy downstairs
so
can
like
alter them.
those lights are flickering at the beginning of the movie as well. Like when Mr. Park first comes home, you can see the lights go like in sequence, like 1, 2, 3 as he comes in.
Yeah.
And that's like before you even know anything to do with them lights. So you're just kind of like, oh, that's just how the house works. Like, he's just got automated lights or whatever. There's so many little like hints and Easter eggs like hidden in there, you know? Mate, it's so good.
I feel that. I want to say that, so this was my second time watching it. And so I watched it with Danielle the first time in the cinema. And so we both watched it the second time the other day. And I was telling Danielle, there are certain movies, or a lot of movies that I always watch twice. I watch a lot of movies twice. And the second time is always better. And for this, the second time watching this was infinitely better. I enjoyed the first time, don't get me wrong. But once you know what's going to happen in the end, it keeps like, so for instance, when you're watching it the first time, you're always thinking, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? This time round, you know what's going to happen. So you're kind of enjoying and appreciating what's on the screen at the moment. And so I picked up a lot of stuff that I didn't realize. For instance, the light thing, and the guy is the ghost and all that kind of stuff.
When I first watched it, actually, I don't know if you felt this way, but the first like hour, because basically the film's, it's kind of 2 separate parts, where so the first half is like quite funny and it's like whimsical. Like, the whole point is they're infiltrating this family and it's like fun to watch them get around these scenarios. So like you can see like the cogs working in their brain, where like she mentions her art teacher and then suddenly he's like, I could get my sister involved. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a sort of cartoonish plot where you're sort of having fun with the characters, right?
And that's the thing. Some of the characters as well are also very cartoonish. Like the dad, he was always like, slapping the kid on the head kind of thing. Like, don't be dumb, kind of, all of that. Like, everything seems jovial.
Yeah.
Everything's really bright.
And you're
in the beginning.
You're like with these characters. You're like, oh, these guys are like some funny criminals,
You're
Look
invested.
at all the shenanigans they're getting up to.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't really
That's exactly it.
You don't think like from their perspective. Obviously, they're like really poor and they're just trying to make some money. And at no point you're like, oh yeah, they're criminals, they're terrible people. You're like, actually, it's kind of funny, you know? They're just doing this thing where they're just managing to actually make a living.
And there's lots of like mentions about like basically, like he says he just wants a job and stuff, and he's like, they mention like a cake shop failing, and like, oh, do you remember when you used to be a driver for 2 months? And he was like, oh, was that before or after I did this? And you're just like, basically, you could just tell that they're like really good con men, but they just can't keep a job down, basically. But they are still bad people. Like, especially at the beginning, like they are properly exploiting these people, and they do some like terrible things, especially like with the cleaner, where they basically like poison her.
See, but that's the thing with what the dad said. There was one scene where he was like, "Are we actually doing something wrong here?" When they're like lying down on the sofa all drunk, and everyone's like, the family's like, "Oh, we need to live for ourselves. Like we can't think of everyone else." But talking about that scene, the movie is split in half, directly in half. It gets to. Is it actually directly in half?
It's like an hour and 4 minutes in, where the cleaner knocks on the doorbell. Yeah,
it's the doorbell. As soon as that doorbell goes, me and Danielle turn to each other, and it turns into pretty much a horror, like a thriller horror. And it is, for me, as soon as I heard that doorbell go, because I'd forgotten about it, because I'd seen it, a year ago. As soon as I heard that doorbell go, I knew, like, oh shit, I've forgotten that the rest of this movie has to happen.
But Brad,
it's literally black and white.
Watching it for the first time. So during the first half, when I watched it first, I was just kind of a bit confused because I was enjoying it, but like people were saying, "Oh, it's like terrifying and thrilling, and this is a masterpiece or whatever." During the first bit, I was like, "Yeah, it's really good. I'm having a good time." But where's this going? Did you kind of feel that way?
In a sense, I mean, obviously, you could tell kind of where it was going because you saw the exposed bit was going to happen. But I had sort of a suspicion of someone dying, but I didn't necessarily know that was the way it was going to go. And at the same time, the way the story was building, it just get me more and more intrigued as to what actually was going to happen when it ended. And the one thing I didn't see coming was the man of the house, the dad. Didn't see that happening.
Oh right. Well, where he basically is like a complete prick.
Right.
Well, to some degree.
Yeah. That is, I really enjoyed that. Because the thing is, you could tell, like, throughout the movie, you could tell, like, that certain things were happening. For example, the family, the poor family, they started getting complacent. You could tell that because they're all, doing their job. And then, for instance, like, the dad would be like, someone pulled out in front of him. He was like, "Oh, son of a bitch." And the rich guy was like, "It's not very, what you've been doing." They're starting to slip. And then the rich family, they start showing their true colors with like, oh, they were probably a woman of the night drug person.
And
like, disgusting.
Well. That's the thing that comes in later.
The smell. Oh, mate, I felt really bad because that is like it's something you just wouldn't be able to change.
That's a tiny line where
stuff like that.
He's like, he says he likes to drive her, but he smells like he can't get rid of that smell. And then she says, like, what does he smell like? And he said he smells like people who ride the subway. And that was basically like such a good metaphor for like how these rich people see the poor people, where they don't like actively hate them.
Exactly.
But they're so like caught up in their bubble where they're just like
it's like active stereotype.
Yeah. But it's
exactly.
It's kind of like both families are selfish in like different ways.
Yeah, because like the poor family, they are gonna fuck over other poor people because that's what they know. Yeah. That's like, I need to survive now, so it doesn't matter. But the rich people, they're like, well, I don't really like them because they kind of smell. but that doesn't affect me. I just don't like it, so I'm just going to get rich.
Because obviously you see the stereotype of like the people being poor, but you also see the other side of it, where the poor people are like, stupid rich people. They've got more money than sense.
Yeah,
kind
because
of thing. So
the mum says, they're nice people, but they're rich. I think the daughter says they're nice people, but they're rich, and then the mum says no, they're. Oh no, she says the other one, they're nice, but they're rich, but they're nice. And then she's like, no, they're nice because they're rich.
Yeah.
And it's basically like they can be nice because they've got all this money. Like
exactly. They don't need to fuck over people and all this kind of stuff.
The poor family,
they don't have to do that.
They basically just see themselves as they have to do this. Otherwise they're gonna be fucked, which you can see from the opening scene, like where they live. And like all of they're like scrounging over pizza boxes and shit, like,
and like stink bugs all over their flat and stuff.
You can basically empathize with both sides, but the second half of the film as well, not only does it switch sort of genres to be like a thriller, but it also kind of switches the narrative where like the rich people are now the parasites, where they're leeching off the poor people because they're like working for them and they don't notice them, and like it says like the rich people all standing around and the son says they're all so beautiful, like, do I fit in here? And he basically just like feels like an outsider. And then like you've got the people in the basement as well, like they're parasites because they're leeching off the rich people. And it's just like there's so many different narratives and meanings going on all at once, so you're just like, fucking hell, this is mad.
Yeah, but real talk though, when the old cleaning ladies come rushing up the stairs to try and like expose them,
mate.
anyone see that like spinning back kick? That was smooth, bro.
That was the most brutal thing ever.
Beautiful. Sweet chin music.
Bit, like I was genuinely like, I don't know about you, when they were going down into the basement the first time I was watching it, like I was on the edge of my seat. Like I was like, I didn't know where it was going.
What? So what? When for the first time when she's like rushing down there to try and get to her husband?
Yeah, but like when she's like running up and then they kick her and he's like dragging her unconscious body to the thing. I'm like, fucking hell, this is brutal. Like a minute ago they were all laughing and drinking, and then suddenly the film just switches, and now suddenly there's like someone tied up in the basement and someone bleeding from the head, and you're just like, fuck me, what happened here?
Yeah. It goes downhill so quick. But there's a couple of things I want to bring up. One thing I want to bring up, I'll talk about it later, is how beautiful the movie looks. And the camera work and the scenes and everything. We'll talk about that after.
The lighting.
But one thing,
so good.
Crispy. The movie looks crispy. But yeah, one thing I want to say is the casting for the guy who's living in that basement was unbelievable. He is genuinely one of the most terrifying people I've ever seen in a movie.
Behind his back. Yeah.
When he's running up the stairs chasing the guy, he looks mate, I was terrified.
Like that bit's brutal as well.
And how brutal. Like you don't expect the movie to be so brutal because it looks, that's another thing I really liked about the last scene, like the juxtaposition of just how everything's so nice and lovely and everyone's having a good time. He just fucking lays into her. Like stuff like that.
Fast violence is very similar to No Country for Old Men, like we were talking about with that, where you've got like a silent scene where not much is happening, and then suddenly like one gunshot and then they're dead, and then they just
0 to 100
because that's like what happens.
Literally, it was like, again, like what you just said with the rock scene. So he kills or tries to kill the son, and he hits him over the head with a rock, and just the whole scene, you just see the camera's just there. He just picks up the rock, smacks him again on the head, and just walks upstairs, grabs the knife, walks outside.
He just switches.
Yeah, all in one scene as well. Another thing I liked, there was no cutting, there was no like dramatic music, there was no like stupid editing, there was no different camera angles. It was just following this man. He walks outside, sun's in his eyes, sees the woman, and just wham. And it's just at that point, like when it happens, it goes silent, and honestly, I wasn't even breathing. I was just there like,
especially first time watching.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, you have no idea where the plot's
it's
going,
shocking.
like in a good way. Like when they're going in the basement.
Exactly.
I'm like, is there like a sex dungeon down here? Is this like, is there going to be like aliens or shit? Is the Brahms
what is going on?
The wall? Like,
to be fair, I was expecting like a whole family. I wasn't expecting just one man. I was thinking like she was rushing down there for a whole family. Like,
yeah.
Even that,
it's
like,
nuts.
it all links together because then you've got like a bit where she's at the door and she says she cut the CCTV camera, and then that comes into play later where they can't find him and he's in the basement, and now like he's living in the basement when he was the one who said like, who would live down here like this, and the guy's like, it's quite nice, like I've got loads of debts. Like,
I've just clocked something, right? There's literally like 3 tiers. So you got the rich people, then you got the poor people who are like just scraping by, and literally you got the people underneath the poor people, and they're like even worse off. There's people even worse
because
he's in like debt and shit. Oh my god, I've just clocked
down
that
on them as well, because when they're down there, they're like mocking them, and they're like, "How can you live like this?" Like,
my brain. Oh my god,
like Bong Joon Ho
my brain
himself
hurts.
has said
That's amazing.
He calls this a staircase movie, where basically loads and loads of the imagery in this film is people walking up and down staircases. Obviously, they've got the staircase in the house, and then like they're walking up it and they're down it or whatever. And then you've obviously got the scene where it's pissing it down with rain, and then they keep walking down and down
keep
and
going
down
and down
until
and
they
down
get to their place that's like flooded, and obviously,
which is the bottom of the thing,
that leads down into the basement, which is like even worse than where they're living, basically. I know.
Damn,
but this is why some people have called this film like political, where all these right-wing people are like, wow, it's like poor people good, rich people bad, when it's literally not. Like, it's so layered.
It's not. It's literally not. Everyone is fucked. Humans are just, I
don't know about you, but
pieces
I relate
of shit
to like all of the characters, even the ones that are like the guy in the basement. I'm like, I understand his motivation. His wife's just been killed. Like, of course he's gonna stab him. The dad, like,
exactly,
when he sees the rich man like not giving a shit about his daughter bleeding on the floor, and he's just like holding his nose because he smells bad. It's like, I'd kill him.
Exactly.
Even the mum,
everything about this movie.
Typical movie, she would be the hoity-toity rich mum who's just like got no redeemable characters. But even her, like, she wasn't necessarily a bad person. She was just like caring about her kids. She was just really naive. She just believed too much, basically. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the script is just like
everything
solid.
about it.
Like, there's no mistakes.
Airtight.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, talking about so like visually, my god, every scene is it just looks so clean. Like, for instance, like any scene in the living room is like one thing I wanted to bring up, which I found out about way before, like a year ago, was that what he used to do, or what he was doing in that movie, is that any time there was a rich person and a poor person in the same scene, there'd be a divide down the middle every single time. And I noticed that this time I watched it, because it's insane. Now. It's like, how do you even think to do that? I
saw that on the trivia.
Yeah, like every single time. Yeah, because for instance, when they're in the living room, the rich person, like after they made the ramdon, the rich person was sitting down eating. Poor person was on the other side of the door case. The door case, like the doorway was like black, just standing there watching her eat. And it's just like every single scene. It's insane.
To watch it again now. I didn't notice that.
Something for a good Sunday night.
Yeah. Oh, again, another one even. So I was thinking about it, because there was a specific scene, the first scene, where the guy goes over to the lady's house and the lady's sleeping on the table outside in the garden, and there's the window pane right in the middle, and it's got the rich lady and the person trying to wake her up, the really poor lady, the maid. Stuff like that. Oh, I've just noticed
Layers.
that.
What you've mentioned there about them always being separate as well kind of gets me to my favorite part of the film, which is like the very end. So basically, you've got the build up, which is whimsical. You get that turn where suddenly it's like a thriller. Everything goes wrong, basically. Their plans go fucked. Both families end up like devastated, basically, from it. Like the kid's got brain damage, so he like can't stop laughing, which I really like that like montage where he's like even at his sister's funeral, he can't stop laughing. It's like proper fucked up where his mum's crying in the background and he's just like giggling.
Yeah.
It's like a really powerful image.
And there's also it's also again a poor person's funeral because in the background as well, they've just got people cleaning up and stuff like that.
It's
while
like
they're trying to mourn,
of,
stuff like that.
Urns and stuff, innit? And then you
Mm.
basically get him doing voiceover describing what happens after the events of the film, basically, where you get in a typical film where it's like this happened and then this happened. And basically his dad's living in the basement and he goes up there at night to see whether he says anything. His dad's leaving a message for him, like a long ass letter for him in Morse code, which obviously is set up before because there's a poster on the wall describing Morse code. That's how the other guy was trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And then this, to me, the ending is, it seems like a happy ending. Seems like a relatively happy ending. But if you pay attention to the final shot, it's actually really, really depressing. Because the whole part is he writes a letter back to his dad saying, I'm going to make enough money that one day me and mum are going to buy this house. All you need to do is walk up from the basement. And we'll see you, right? So like the second to last shot is him walking out of the basement. He comes out and you see him hugging in the garden. They've buried the, is it the cleaner? Yeah, they bury the cleaner in the garden because the dad does that, doesn't he? So they're like tending to that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, one day I'll make enough money and we'll see each other again. Then immediately after that, it like fades to black and you think the film's over. And then you just see the son sitting back in the same house from the beginning with that big window. And he's like about to write his letter. So to me, the whole point of the ending and the film is that he's never going to make enough money to earn that house.
Oh, no.
Because,
no chance.
As you said before, the poor people and the rich people have to stay separate. So the whole point is it's a class divide. Like the whole point of the film is them trying to make enough money to no longer be poor. And time again, you see in the film that the poor people stay poor, the rich people are going to stay rich no matter what happens. So basically, like, he's fantasizing, saying that he's one day going to be a rich person and everything's going to be good, but he's still, he's
and that's
still
what every
sitting
poor
in the
person
same
does.
house, like the same shit house, and he's basically always going to be there no matter how hard he tries.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which, like, that final scene to me solidifies this film as being like a great film, to being like a genuine masterpiece, like one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah,
because it all wraps around.
Yeah,
and after seeing it 4 times, like, I think that's only got stronger with each rewatch. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, that's again really rare. Really rare. But then again, there's always something to look out for in that movie. You're always going to pick up maybe one new thing every time you watch it. Like, for instance, next time you watch it, you're probably going to be looking out for the little divide thing
I feel like this film as well is weird because if you don't pay any attention, it might seem like a film where not much is happening. Whereas if you actually watch it and embrace it, which, I mean, like, judging by like how well it's done
so
as well
much
compared to other foreign films, it seems like this is the one film where people have finally decided to like pay attention and be like, right, I'm not gonna just
give
be
it
like,
a go.
This is some foreign film. Like, I'm not gonna watch this. It seems to be the only film that sort of like broke through that barrier. Because I mean, it's made. How much did it make worldwide? It's made $260 million worldwide as well.
Not bad return on investment
for an $11 million budget. That's insane.
Stonks.
Especially for a foreign film. Like, foreign films don't make money in America because they don't want to watch them.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. It's the whole like ignorance. Like, oh, why would I want to read? Ugh.
Yeah, so I feel like this is the perfect film to like convince people to watch foreign films.
Yeah, like how many foreign films have we missed that are really good? And we just haven't been bothered because it just never got any.
You could always try and
recognition.
find Adam's Bulgarian war film, whatever the fuck is.
Bro, if you want,
I'm not gonna do that.
Want any weird foreign films where kids get murdered, then I'm your man.
All right.
But also, like,
say nothing.
I need to stop recommending war films about children. So, I think we've already done 2 films.
Yeah, they're starting to clock on.
All right.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to final thoughts then?
Yeah, man, go for it.
So let's
go.
Let's stick with Brad again. We'll go with you first.
I ain't really got much more to say, to be honest with you. Like, it was just overall, I've always said this, that the plot line, fantastic. You can't say anything bad about the actors. The whole like impersonating con man thing, brilliant. Overall, it's a 5-star film.
See, I think it's not even up for debate whether it's a 5-star film or not. It's more.
Oh no.
It's more like where you rank it in comparison to like favorite films.
In your favorite 5-star films.
Like, it's that good. It transcends that barrier.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like if someone gave this a 4.5, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like what could be better? What more do you need? Nah. If I was to give this like a 1-word review, it'd just be masterful. There is everything about every aspect has been mastered. There's nothing that can improve on. It's a 5-star film. There's nothing much else to say. It's just very, very, very good.
Memories of Murder. Trust.
I'll get on it.
I'm not sure what year
maybe that can be the next one.
Like the mid 2000s, but it's Bong Joon Ho, and it's just like a detective story. Kind of reminds me of Seven a bit. So, like, if you want something like Parasite mixed with Seven, then you want to get on that shit.
I've heard about that, and it was based on a true story. And they only wrapped up that case last year. It was a real case, and the guy who did whatever, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the person has been arrested and they confessed to what they did last year.
Even more reason then. Watch Memories of Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it's not even worth me rating it because it's 5-star, obviously. Like, this film's currently sitting at 4th on my all-time list, so it's up there, you know.
Damn. Cat in the Hat's number 1 though,
obviously.
Isn't
it? I mean, you got Cat in the
Hat.
Right,
glad we
Brahms,
finished this up now. See you later, boys.
2, got Green Lantern, and then you got Parasite.
Yeah, and then closely behind that is Justice League, of course.
But no, this film's like, it's rare that new films become like greatest of all time contenders, but to me, it's genuinely up there. So everyone should watch it. There's no excuse not to. Just watch this.
And it's
film.
an Amazon Prime, so
exactly, yeah. Get on it. There's a black and white version as well. I might watch that just for a comparison.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
The 2 films that Brad's seen this year, anyway.
Yeah, you do your thing now.
So,
right.
Now we're gonna move on to just like honorable mentions. We don't need to talk too long.
Yes.
Just like, what would we recommend?
Just a couple words.
What shit?
Right.
So, Dylan, what about you? Like, what did you see in 2020?
So I saw a lot of the films that came out in the cinema purely because I work there, so I get a chance to do that. I saw Tenet. It's fine. It made my ears bleed. I wouldn't watch it in the cinema.
I've not seen it.
I'd probably watch it at home again. I'd watch it on DVD maybe next year. See if it's any good
like
again.
Christopher Nolan the movie, like just watch Inception.
It's Christopher Nolan wankfest. Yeah. Another movie that I did enjoy, which came out almost like just to the end of 2020, was Soul.
Mm.
The Disney movie, Pixar movie.
Oh, I forgot.
Have you any of you seen it?
I forgot you're a Disney shill. Like, are you getting paid for this or what?
This episode is sponsored by Disney Plus. No, genuinely, Soul might be in my top 5 Pixar movies.
Controversial. Jeez.
It is very, very good. It's more geared towards adults by far. It is a movie where you're not watching it and you're just like, it's a bit childish, but you know, like I like childish stuff. It's more like, oh damn, maybe I should reevaluate my life.
Right. I might
like
have to
in a good way.
Watch, but I'm not paying for Disney Plus.
In a good way. That's fair. I'll give you my account on
pirate websites, you know.
Pirate
I'm not
Bay.
giving Disney
okay,
money.
And one more movie that I did see in the cinema, and I'm so glad I did, because genuinely thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it with mates as well. Actually, there's 2 movies that I watched with mates and thoroughly enjoyed. One of them is Dolittle, because by far the funniest movie I saw all year. By far. Legit. Amazing to watch with friends. If you make a drinking game out of it, and anytime you laugh or say "what the fuck" out loud, you drink, you die of liver poisoning. Mm-hmm. But another movie is Sonic.
Oh,
what?
Wait,
no. Give me a minute.
Go
Give me a minute. Sonic was a fun movie because I went in expecting it to be utter trash, and it wasn't utter trash. He only Fortnite danced twice.
Fuck off.
And
I'm not watching it.
He only Fortnite danced twice.
I'm not watching a CGI Sonic floss. Alright.
It was flossing.
Does it actually? Right.
But it was fun.
To recommend films anymore.
I shit you not, if I get a recommendation anytime soon, I'm recommending Sonic.
Right. No. No. Dead, bro. Okay, so yeah, another one of my guilty pleasures this year was Dolittle.
Yeah.
I genuinely had like a midlife crisis watching that film where I was like, do I like this? Where I was laughing, and then I was like, I'm not even laughing at the unironic. Like, I'm laughing at the unironic stuff now as well. Like, I think I might be broken. That film was actually good. The worst film I saw this year, apart from Brahms, was the new SpongeBob film on Netflix.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
Trash, bro. It's terrible. It's like horrible 3D animation, and it's like a musical.
I hate it.
Like they walk into a bar, and like Snoop Dogg is there, and just starts like rapping about.
Wait, is it like
SpongeBob
the actual Snoop Dogg though?
Like, it's fucking weird. Like the actual.
So they actually got Snoop Dogg to rap on SpongeBob.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that, Brad, but he does Just Eat adverts now.
No, but that sounds.
Hey, you know how much you got paid for that
like,
Just Eat
advert? That
sounds
meme worthy, but it's fucking terrible. Yeah.
No, how much you get paid?
Bank. That's mad.
No, he got paid $5 million to do that.
You're joking,
bro. He made more in that commercial than Katie Holmes has made in her entire life.
That's buzz.
Right, and then actually good films that I'd recommend. Like there was some good documentaries in 2020. So the Feels Good Man, that was really good. That was basically about how Pepe the Frog got turned into like a Nazi hate symbol.
Oh yeah.
So like it's really interesting because it talks to the original creator, and he basically just made it as part of this comic. That's just like
it was a comic book
for him and his mates, and then suddenly it turned into like this hate symbol, and it like got fucked up. Right, that's interesting. I'd recommend that. There's a 5-part documentary on iPlayer called Once Upon a Time in Iraq. If you're after a really bad time where you're depressed, then watch that because it basically interviews. It's a documentary told only from the perspective of people that were in the war. So it's like civilians in Iraq, soldiers, and like
so really wholesome family content. Okay.
Yeah, like it's proper depressing, but it was really good. Right.
Fair.
And then another film that you forgot to mention, Dylan, which I'm surprised about, is Jojo Rabbit.
That came out last year.
That was 2020, bro. Yeah, January.
Jeez.
Oh shit! Jojo Rabbit is a banger.
Yeah, that's a great film. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Jeez.
But yeah, Jojo Rabbit's like really funny, but also like there's a moment in it where your heart breaks, and you start crying like a baby.
Yeah.
And then
really
final
good movie.
one that I'd recommend is Uncut Gems. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet.
Oh my god! Right, I just want a 1 minute little speech on that. My god, that movie
Dylan, you forgot all these films that came out.
I didn't know that was last year.
Yeah,
it feels like 4 years ago. Right, Uncut Gems. I cannot stress enough how much I'm not exaggerating. I was stressed the entire time. It is one of the best movies I've seen purely because, or best movie I've seen in the past few years, purely because it did exactly what it wanted to do.
Yeah.
Every scene, there was noise, there was background noise, there was cars, there was phones ringing, there was, and you understand why the character is how he is, because we're just living his life.
Yeah, literally.
In that movie. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, that's the Safdie brothers. Like there are other films like that as well. The Good Time. With
one. Oh, did I see that? I think I might have. Yeah, I did see that. But another film that just one more thing. Stay away from.
Right.
Disney's Mulan. Stay away.
Oh yeah. You mean the film that like supports like fascism and concentration camps? Yeah, we won't be watching.
No, don't. I watch any movie I put on. I watch. Right, I watch most of it. Like most of the movies I put on, I watch all the way through, even if they're crap. I watched. I think it was a total of 6.5 minutes before I turned it off. It was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. You had people running up walls and like doing backflips. It looked like a bad Bollywood film, a really under budget Bollywood film. But it was a Disney film that probably cost them 260 million. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Stay away.
The budget was actually like 250 million, man.
Yeah, stay away.
I mean, if it's Disney, they're throwing out big budgets, isn't they? So
yeah.
One final thing about Disney as well, because I just want to rant a little bit.
Yeah.
You've seen Onward, haven't you, Dylan?
I have seen Onward, but also the budget for Mulan was 200 million plus.
Yeah, I know. Right, Dylan, do you remember?
Onward.
Obviously, Pixar, Disney, their films, they always have a small animated segment before the film starts. Right?
Yeah.
To get you in the
That's
mood.
to show. It's also to show off their next gen. Of graphics. Yeah.
Do you remember which short film it was before Onward?
Was it the one in the park or something like that?
Bro, it was the Disney version of Simpsons, and it was the worst piece of shit garbage I've ever seen in my life. Do you not remember? It was like Maggie.
Was it the Maggie?
Dating some kid in a park.
Yeah.
Just like
what was that about?
Of just vomit inducing, just yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Why was that a thing?
So I just want to shout out Disney for
ruining everything
and just like massacring my childhood and supporting concentration camps. So keep up the good work, Disney.
Yeah, anyway. Big up Disney. On that sour note.
So yeah, that's we've pretty much covered the films of 2020.
Yeah.
So we're basically going to do another special episode where we do a similar thing, but we're going to talk about 2020 albums.
Yes.
So I don't know if we'll choose specific albums or we're just going to pick some that we've all heard.
We'll just talk about, I
mean, to be fair, I've got no clue what you've listened to like in the last year, Dylan. So
yeah, exactly.
You listened to the Bring Horizon album. That's something to chat about.
Maybe
it's banging. Oh wait, no spoilers.
We can give a couple of suggestions. Anyway,
yeah,
because obviously an album's easier to listen to than watching a whole film. So like, maybe there should be a few specific ones that we can delve.
Maybe we should all do like a maybe we could do like a listen to this and don't listen to this each.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I mean, I know me and Adam have listened to quite a few of the same albums of 2020, so I don't know what you might have. I don't think you would have listened to half of what we listened to though, Dylan. So
nope. Absolutely not.
Or maybe we all do a best of and a worst of, and then we listen to them. Maybe.
Could do. We'll see. We'll sort it out.
Because there might be some crossover there anyway. Drake.
Oh my god. Don't.
Oh.
Right.
Hey, Certified Lover Boys dropping soon anyway, though, boys. Are you hyped?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I hate it.
That new Digger D album, though?
No, I will do soon, though. Why? Right, before we get copyright claimed by Digger D, let's call that a day.
Yeah.
So, thanks for listening to this episode of Media Nest. And I'll see you guys soon.
Good, man.
Bye-bye.